Time is a precious commodity in modern business and perhaps one of the greatest expenses faced by many modern businesses. Amalgamating information from 2D is a very time-consuming process. It requires time with drawings, reports, graphs, tables. By moving all of this information into the 3D space, effectively you're moving it into a platform which is intuitively easy to understand, which means it is much easier and much quicker for us to disseminate and to understand our data and what our data is telling us about our assets. There are two main benefits for power and water asset owners in using 3D models. Firstly, it is much quicker and much easier to understand what our data is telling us. In the modern world, we are collecting more and more data about our assets, but the data can only be useful if firstly we can understand our data, and secondly, the data can help us diagnose emerging trends or problems with our assets such that we can step in and intervene before there are any risks to our assets or to our people. We have applied 3D modelling and surveillance animation to a whole range of power and water challenges, both around Australia and around the Asia Pacific region. We've looked at things such as dams, with hydropower stations, pipelines. We can look at things such as movement. We can see what is the magnitude of the movement, how is it moving in what direction, what's the history of movement, is the movement cyclic or does it continue in a single direction? And this greatly helps asset owners in making decisions pertinent to their assets. The first example that we have is a pipeline in Tasmania where the owner experienced some movement. They were concerned and they kicked off survey to look at the movement of the pipeline. It had over 80 survey points and 240 data streams effectively to try and understand the asset and the movement that was going on. The second example that we have is a dam which has a very complicated foundation and a very complicated instrumentation setup. Effectively, the dam is overlying a dissolvable limestone, which means that if the limestone dissolves, you may end up with a sinkhole and collapse of the dam into this cavity. What we did was we brought all of the data into one place. So instead of looking at 40 2D graphs and looking at the drawings to understand the complexity of the foundation, we brought all of that information into one place so the client had a one-stop shop to see exactly how the dam was performing, to make sure there were no sinkholes developing in the foundation of the dam, such that if there are any problems, they can move in and they can fix the problem before it becomes critical.